the entire world needs to evolve sort of at the same time. Okay, I don't want to see it writing my code 24/7. Like, I just want to look at the diff at the end. I feel like that's one evolution. I think, right now we're still in the whole, okay, I need to review everything that AI gives. Guess what? There's going to be a time very soon in which we're not going to feel that way. Security and code quality and blah, 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 like all these questions that are sort of unanswered, right? But I mean, it will be sometime soon. And then all of a sudden we're not reviewing individual lines of code. So like, then what does that mean? How do you review things at the feature level? Like, I don't know, just like so many interesting, fun things in the next few years for us. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode. My name's Tracy. You can follow me on Twitter at Lady Leet or on LinkedIn at Tracy S. Lee. I'm joined by my two co-hosts today.
How's it going?
Hello.
Here. What's up?
Stepping over you, man. I'm AD.
This is like episode 2, so we're still, like I was like, oh, I forgot to say that I work at this dot, so I guess I should have said that too. So, but all right, AD, you go first.
We'll get better. I'm AD. I work at this dot. There we go. Got it in there.
Yes, sir.
AI enablement all day.
That's right. And Brandon Mathis, engineering lead over here at this dot labs. AI all day, every day.
We do live some amazing lives. I just got back actually from DocuSign Discover, their developer conference last week. Lots of AI announcements there. GitHub Universe was also last week, so that was fun. Also, MCP Universe was last week. So, man, if you just want to take a little, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out when is the best time you can recommend somebody to just like go to the Bay Area. Does it have to be through a conference, or is there just stuff happening like every single day that, you can just pop in and go to like 10 events?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI enablement all day, every day.
That's right.
Cool. Well, what is new in the world this week?
Oh man, Tracy. So we were talking a little bit before the podcast, and I mean, this has been something that's been on my radar over the past week, but like the browser wars, they're back. AI browsers are all the new rage, and it's been pretty fun for me testing out some of these, new ways of exploring the web. I think this sort of started really at the beginning of the year when I saw a lot of people utilizing this browser called the Arc browser. It had like some AI integrations into it, but it was more of this like wave of people going, I don't really love Chrome. I don't really love Firefox. I want to try something new. I want to try, a different way of exploring and surfing the web. And I found the Arc browser to be interesting. When I downloaded it, I tried it. I was like, oh, this is just kind of like a really pretty version of Chrome. But recently, over like the past 2 months, I mean, that was like beginning of the year this year, but really over the past 2 months here in October and November, a couple of new products have hit the browser game, namely OpenAI's Atlas browser, which is very much driven by OpenAI's desire to create this like agentic mode of browsing the web where you can just like work directly with your chatbot. You also have Perplexity's Comet. I'm not like a huge Perplexity user, but I have a lot of friends that rant and rave a lot about the Comet browser, and they really like Perplexity a lot. They do a lot of like academic study and research and stuff like that. And then one browser I've recently started trying out a bit, just from some podcasts I've been watching, hearing this browser come up a lot. It's called Dia, which apparently comes out of like the Arc team, this company called the Browser Company, which has said, let's completely, like reinvent the original project that we made and create this browser called Dia that really has kind of like AI-driven web surfing built into its core. And now I have all these options and I don't know what to do, Tracy.
Is Chrome going to compete? Like, I feel like Addie's over there, right?
Chrome is the engine that they're using for these browsers, right? Yes, like Chromium.
And that's how Chrome won the world, right? Because you remember back in the day where like everybody was sort of doing their own thing, and then all of a sudden, I think Edge started using Chromium under the hood.
Chromium.
Yep.
And it seemed like the world just sort of all came together But that's kind of cool. So, I mean, Google basically is winning. Like, Google's basically still winning.
Well, with these new browsers, Google will not be winning, right? Because search is effectively dead because there's no search bar. You have the chat interface. So you're going directly to the model versus through Google. Like Google has been owning web for the most part, right? It's been controlling what you see, controlling with AdWords. It's controlling, the ecosystem. But with these browsers, there's no Google in the middle. You have the LLM that's powering your experience at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not Gemini.
Yeah, I mean, there are some browsers, I think Dia may let you like select different engines, and I'm sure there are people coming out with browsers that let you do that as well, but I feel like while Google may be winning, Chromium is just an open source project that Google owns. It's not really like the Chrome browser proper. And it kind of makes me think like, what all is it that Chrome is doing that makes a company like OpenAI want to release a browser themselves? And that immediately like leads me towards tracking user behavior. I think we know that it takes a lot of data to train these AIs, these LLMs. And I think that because of some moves that we've seen like in courts and things like that, it's become more problematic for OpenAI just to scrape any data that they want willy-nilly. So I think there's some business strategy behind some of this to say, listen, if we can make a really awesome Chromium wrapper, which we know people like, that integrates our product, which we know people like, then people may use this browser and we can get some information about how users want to interact with the web directly from the source. And we don't need to worry about privacy policies and terms of service to like scrape the internet for info. We can pull it directly out of our browser based on what people are looking at. I don't think this is like a revolutionary thought though. I mean, I'm not having to pay for these browsers.
That's what Chrome, I mean, before Chrome became a browser, I mean, that's why Chrome existed, right? They were like, oh, let me be able to track everything. But what about, I was talking to somebody last week about that as well. Sort of no, actually, you know what it was, AD? It was when we were at lunch yesterday. And we were talking about sort of two court cases. And I think Anthropic that scraped Webster, the dictionary, and sort of, there was a lawsuit against that, and Anthropic actually won because it's okay to sort of consume data and then have your own interpretation of that data. So what say you, Brandon?
Yeah. I mean, they won, but right, like, I mean, what it might have been against like a certain example. Like, I know that there are companies out there that are vehemently fighting against OpenAI from like allowing them to scrape like their data. I'm sure there's like open, sources out there, but it just, I don't know. I mean, when I came to this thought, I kind of was like, this isn't really like a revolutionary concept. I mean, I think it's just like a tried and true play. And I mean, OpenAI's got to do something to get themselves, I think, just like out of just being another tab that you have open in the browser and into something that's more like core of how you use your day-to-day. I mean, it seems like with the creation of agent mode, the demos that OpenAI put forth whenever they showcase like, oh, I need to make a recipe or something like that, and letting GPT surf the web for you, I think that's like the vision of where a lot of, OpenAI sees the web transforming. And I think they feel that they'll have the biggest control over that vision if they kind of create the portal that everyone goes through.
I think they see it as the new marketplace, right? Like OpenAI has now gone from a nonprofit to, a for-profit business, right? That is news, right? And then, how we briefly touched upon this, right? How there's a new SDK that allows third parties to then target inside of ChatGPT, right? Which then is the extension of this browser. So it's a new commerce. This is a new marketplace that they're trying to like grab and take hold of and like lay the foundation for. That's how I see it. They get the tracking, right? They can control, very similar to Google, right? With AdWords, and control the influx of ads, control this. You can segment the markets, right? It's just a whole nother playground that like us, as we've been trained to use these chatbots, right? And now now we're going to be trained to be able to surf the web, right? As we asked, why did OpenAI create this browser? And it said there's some good strategies of why they're doing that. right? But it's a lot more than just, hey, I want to improve your workflows. It's more about, hey, the targeting, the dollar, who's going to control the flow of the finance, right? Going forward in this new world.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're seeing kind of like the death of the modern search engine, and definitely like the death of Google as a search engine as exists, at large right now. The response that I get from the majority of, I've been using Google since it hit the market day one, way back in the day when it was just the word Google with an input field in there, and there were no ads and there was nothing. And it was amazing. Well, flash forward 2025, you have this AI generated summary that's in the feed. You have these ads that are in there. You have promoted posts. You really need you have to be a bit of a guru to be able to like traverse your way through Google to find the stuff that you want now. And more, especially developers, have started telling me, I just go straight to ChatGPT now when I need to search for something. And I think that like that's just going to balloon outwards for more and more people. Where I ran a little experiment myself where my wife and I are going to go see Backstreet Boys perform at the Sphere in Vegas over Christmas.
Ooh.
We have to book ourselves some rooms, in Vegas. We want to stay at Circa. And yeah, I could go through the whole clunky user interface of finding their website and selecting the dates. But I just started with a basic prompt to ChatGPT, and I said, hey, ChatGPT, I want to stay at Circa in Vegas. I need to stay on the following nights. It's going to be 2 people. And I got up and walked away from my computer because it took a while to get it done. I could have definitely done it easier myself. It was a fun experiment. About 3 minutes later, it did have Circa pulled up with reservations on the selected dates, but it had just stopped short with filling my information out, which was
great.
A nice experience. Yeah, because I was thinking to myself, I also started prodding it saying, now fill my info out. Here's my info, do it. I was telling it my name and stuff like that. I'm like living life a little bit more dangerously than some people should with these browsers. But it was like, no, I'm not going to fill any of your personal information out, none of your credit card info out. So, I mean, companies are doing a lot to protect against that, but
it is the dream, though. I mean, even Stripe sessions, just a few, I think it was like May or something, May of this year or something. They were showing examples of like, well, imagine in ChatGPT if you could just make purchases immediately, or your travel agent does all the booking for you. But I mean, I love that example, Brandon, because I've started changing my habits too. For example, I'm always looking for a discount code, and I'm like, okay, well, should I buy something right now? So I was on Sephora, and I was like, should I buy this? Nothing's on sale. And I just asked ChatGPT, I was like, well, when is it going to be on sale? I said, okay, well, usually during Black Friday, there's a sale. And so I waited, and then I got 30% off, instead of going for the, usually for me, my shopping experience is like, Sephora discount code, like which one is available, right? Or like, a lot of people have like a browser extension to sort of like try to test out coupon codes and things like that. But ChatGPT knows everything.
Yeah, you like strategically waited for Black Friday, but like in the future, maybe our browser, it can have like previous knowledge, or maybe explore the Wayback Machine. I don't know, but it can be typically Black Friday.
Well, maybe wait. It was like, well, last year this is what happened, and it like goes through all the different little blogs to be like, well, this is typically blah blah blah, or like how much discount can I typically? Because if it's something's 20% off, and I can get it for 40% off later.
Wow, think about price comparison too, right? Like it's like I want to purchase a XYZ. Look at all the different websites.
I never thought about doing that actually. I should actually do that, but I still would confirm with Google too. But that's actually a really good idea. Yeah.
I mean, it's slow, Tracy, like the Atlas browser. It's a little bit slow, and I kind of think that's just like because this is so early, but like I'm really seeing kind of like this vision of like, forget everything we're talking about with like it's on the desktop. I see it as I'm on my phone at a bar, doing something where I'm semi-distracted and can't like focus entirely on what it is that I'm doing, and I can just talk directly to the phone. I need to get bookings for blah blah blah, and maybe everything is synced up. So when I go home and I sit down in front of my computer to make a big boy purchase, the tab is already up for me with the dates.
Right, and I can see this being coupled like with the MCPs, right? The MCPs,
the Stripe
the protocol.
MCP, man, right?
Right, you can connect it to the Stripe MCP. It can send an alert for you on your email. It can send emails. Like you can write a document. You can create a notepad. You can do all kinds of things, right, just through the browser. But the security aspect is something that I want to make sure that we touch upon because it's not quite there. But if once we solve that though, because we will solve it, right, then I can see all these opportunities being opened up.
I mean,
how do you, sorry, Tracy, I was going to ask AD, man, how do you feel about the potential for prompt injection in something like this?
Right now it's wild. It's the Wild West right now. Like you can just easily just have like a little script on the page and it just read it and something malicious will happen, right? Take your credit card, take your social security number, like pretty easily. We just got to figure out that transport. How do we obfuscate? How do we encrypt? I think that's the next frontier. Right. What is OAuth 2.1? What does that mean going forward?
We'll be back to the episode in a second, but first I'd like to acknowledge the team behind the channel, This.Labs. We're seeing 3x to 5x productivity improvements with our teams and clients using tools like Cursor, Claude Code, and GitHub Copilot. We help teams adopt these technologies and get max value out of them through strategic partnerships, trainings, and other software engineering services. Check us out at ai.this.co. Thanks. Now back to the video.
So, I mean, we obviously are, I feel like, a little bit more advanced when it comes to, gosh, I can't wait till my mom discovers ChatGPT and because she bargain hunts on travel all the time. And it's like, oh my gosh, once she figures out like how the heck to use, her life is going to change, right?
Yes.
So, we can obviously see that on the consumer side. Do you feel like these browsers are going to be changing how engineers work? Like, for example, I mean, we talked about this, gosh, like even last year, this whole idea of, hey, this whole idea of like SEO, search engine optimization and all these other things is like, I mean, is it even a thing anymore? Or like certain people are, now, there's a bunch of sort of like videos about how to optimize your website these days, or some of the best practices, right? Like we talk about accessibility. Gosh, I mean, where does accessibility even fit into this picture anymore?
I think SEO will still matter, right? Because these models will still need to traverse the internet, right? Like tagging and all that becomes even more important. Just like how we talk to engineers about documenting, like creating documentation. Like XML is like a perfect form, or HTML is a perfect form for these models to understand. So I don't see that going away, but the way it's used will change. All right. You can the way the tags that these models will read will change. Maybe they may become even more important for your content. Now I don't understand how it's going to work, but I do know that
I love that all of a sudden all the accessibility people are like, finally, you guys are going to label things.
Yeah, models are trained on natural language. Like, why wouldn't we use it, right? And these tags make sense.
I mean, maybe we'll just maybe we're just like flying towards like the death of front-end development as we know it. No more inputs, no more fields, no more buttons. Everything is just a big screen reader. And your agent is the interface that reads the content and communicates to you. And you don't have to fill out a different checkout form on every single website that you go to. I mean,
I will
see web components.
No,
I know, right? Web components might matter.
Like we can just hear Alex Russell like in our heads. But I mean, I think it's also like with ChatGPT and sort of with all of these coding agents as well. This idea, right? For example, like engineers, we're always talking about carpal tunnel. Let's say, right? Like it's like, oh, you're gonna have wrist issues. Oh, you break your arm. This is a huge problem, and now all of a sudden, right? If you can just talk and sort of, get Claude Code, for example, to just do your work.
The level of anxiety that I have around breaking my arm, Tracy, is like insane. My wife, my family once took me and my brothers on a ski trip, and I just refused to ski because I was too worried I was going to fall down the mountain and break my wrist.
No way.
Or tweak it or something. Yeah, legitimately. And I was like, what would I do for a week, 2-3 weeks? I mean, 90% of my time is spent with my hands on the keyboard. So yes, I actually do think about that a lot and wonder, like, even right now, I feel very confident that I could probably get an entire week's worth of work done. Maybe not at my full capacity, but I could just use Super Whisper and talk directly into Claude Code. Thank goodness. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I can cancel that insurance on my arms.
What
Coder hand and arm insurance.
What is Super Whisper?
Super Whisper is a native application that you can install directly on your desktop, both on Windows and Mac OS, and it will pop up whenever you hit a key combination, a dialogue that starts like recording whatever you're saying into your microphone, and it just automatically transcribes it into whatever text input you have open. So, like ChatGPT has a button in it where you can press a microphone to start recording stuff. But Claude Code runs on my terminal and other apps run on my terminal. So this is just a general purpose transcription tool. It's called Super Whisper. There's something called the Super Whisper app is like the Mac version. This is all open source and it all works locally too, which is very nice. I can use it without an internet connection. So I've started using that a lot for some stuff on my some streaming stuff and just some ideas on how to use AI at an even higher level where we really are just talking to it, you know.
All I heard is I don't have to use my fingers anymore on my arms.
Hey, man.
But then
no more wrist guards.
All of these, like, I don't know if you guys have seen on Instagram, these memes about how, or like, you know, they say like the office worker, right? And you see like the evolution of the office worker, right? Like more of a hunched back, more of a whatever, right? And so like, are all these things sort of going to go away for us? Because, you know, it's like, can you just imagine like things being like incredibly more ergonomic?
Man.
Somehow? Like, what is that reality? And also thinking about it, when is the sort of, you know, maybe this is the death of React because
Tracy.
Well, here's the deal, right? So for example, you know, right now, right? I mean, you know, syntax, right, is, you know, you can't really say, it's like, you know, bracket and bracket, you know, like it's not as ergonomic. But if we think about how, you know, maybe the lives of developers will change, does that mean that like a new coding language needs to be created to help? No.
Vanilla HTML and CSS and JavaScript.
But
I'm telling you that
you can't like say those things though. As a part, like you can't be like, you know, backslash whatever. Like it's hard to sort of verbalize those types of things.
Yeah, pseudocode, right? Pseudocode is like, it still works. You can use a ton of pseudocode.
Wow, did we know AD was you know, use the platform?
Use what you already have. Just
like we keep reinventing the wheel. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the basics actually work with AI.
Yeah, I really don't think the world needs another programming language.
It doesn't.
Dude, I'm creating one. I'm like, the ChatGPT, create a new coding language that's focused on like natural language only, right? That replaces JavaScript.
I suggest we just write all XML.
I can just talk to you and
XSLT.
Create something. Yes. All right, let's see what ChatGPT does here. What else is new? What else is exciting? So Browser Wars 2.0.
Browser Wars 2.0.
Braze.
Dude, when you mentioned how all this AI stuff is going to impact engineers, I thought of Braze because I read up a little bit, you know, on their tooling and what's going on, and it really kind of gives the feeling that they're saying like, hey, let's do Google Analytics for AI systems. Take this code snippet, drop it into your website, and now you're going to have intelligence on whether someone came to your website from an AI prompt. And I think this will unfurl out to allow people to make custom cards that get auto unfurled into chats, specific offerings, and maybe even track information about the nature of the chat leading up to it. But
I'm seeing it right now though, like, you know, because whenever I do something, it'll be like ref equals ChatGPT, right? So I mean, I guess ChatGPT is adding that to every link so that the internet knows that it's coming from ChatGPT. But a lot of times when I like, you know, I've clicked on links before and I've noticed that it's brought me actually to a ChatGPT specific page. So that's kind of interesting that we're sort of starting to see that.
And you know how they do that? They just use the refer header.
Okay.
Right? They just use the infrastructure that's already in place.
You're getting referred from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Just use the HTML tags that are there. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can do all kind of weird things.
Hey, man.
But Brandon,
that's a valid point.
You know what Braze is. I think not everybody knows what Braze is. Do you want to explain a little bit about Braze?
I'm sorry, you were saying me. I thought you said AD for a second, so I was keeping my mouth.
When did you know
I'm pretty
it?
familiar with Braze.
I mean, I did an initial look. I mean, it seemed like it offers a lot of just like, I mean, it seemed like to me it was offering like very specific tooling around tracking when users originate from some like GPT like system or Perplexity or whatever into your website. I mean, your point is valid, Tracy, that yeah, you can just get that with Google Analytics, but I think it's Braze intent to make this even more. But I mean, it seems newer. I mean, it seems newer. It seems like it's being built out more. I mean, I know it's a customer engagement platform for tracking people that come out of a variety of different things, but they're doing like some really specific stuff with AI and advertising.
Yeah, I've worked with them in previous worlds, and yeah, they do that. It's really a marketing tool, right? You can aggregate, you can understand your audience. But what they've done, like they've typically been in like an SDK inside of like a mobile app or a website, right? You can do tracking, you can do engagement, you can get all kind of analytics, you can see where they're going. Now they're saying, all right, now we can take that same methodology and apply it into these chat interfaces like ChatGPT, where you can understand the user behavior, and then you can start targeting. Like you can start targeting your users, you know, based on where they are in chat or the prompts that they're using. Right. So if you know if AD is a customer of mine or in my segments, and then they're using chat, then I can target them directly in their chat.
I
Right.
would
So it's
love
a
to see that segment I'm a part of. Instagram thinks I'm part of a Pokemon segment right now. I've
oh
watched like
boy.
10 videos today about how to get Pokemon from Costco and Best Buy, and how you can buy the entire. Did you know you can buy the display at Best Buy and it's going for
Really
like $1,000 on
Goodness.
the internet? I don't know.
interesting.
Anyways, so man, imagine kids though, like your kids using it, just like you know, what kind of random stuff are they going to come up to?
That brings us. I mean, we got child safety, right? We got all kind of things that we have yet to explore with these new browsers.
Man, oh man.
It's true.
Brand
Which is
safety.
why anybody, any engineer listening that's like, oh, well, the AI is going to take my jobs. AI is absolutely not. Like, think about this. Oh, all of a sudden, like, AdWords 2.0 is coming. Browser 2.0 is coming. Like, new companies, gosh, the retargeting, right? Like when like what was like 2010 or, so much money was made off of this stuff. Like, it's just a rinse and repeat. So no, AI is not taking our jobs. It's just giving us more jobs because everybody's going to try to capitalize on it. And guess who's going to be coding it? Us.
And on the back end, you still got to ETL this data into some database, into some warehouse
Yeah.
to understand the
Yep.
market. None of that changes.
Yep. I love it. Or it could change AD. But if it does change, then it creates a whole new market. And a whole new set of learning and a whole new, yeah. So, well, let's move on to our next segment, which is like what's working. So you guys work on AI, 24/7 at this dot. What's working in companies this week? Any exciting things we're seeing?
Skills with Claude, I'm seeing that beginning to work in regards to like being able to allow your sub agents to be able to have a repeated behavior. So that I'm beginning to see that work. Yeah. And also just continue to get like tribal knowledge, like setup. I think setup is becoming easier now. All right. That still has been like a pain point. Just
Why do
getting
you think
set
it's
up.
becoming easier?
Well, because like at one of our clients, now we have IT involved, and now they're saying, hey, we'll make sure the VDI, the VMs that we're actually giving to our employees will have these certain components in place. So we don't have to muddle around with getting their VM set up.
Oh, I
Right.
like
To make sure
that.
right. Then we don't have to
Oh,
make sure,
IT departments
it
are
should
becoming,
come
like,
with
more
Git.
mature.
Right. It should come with Git or Azure or whatever, all those things that it needs.
Yeah.
Right. So then we're not muddling around trying to install for each individual device.
I feel like that's actually just pretty good general advice, right? I feel like a lot of engineering teams are sort of working outside of IT, or being like, oh, IT is going to stop us from getting, this license, that license, et cetera, because obviously security and et cetera, et cetera. But it seems like over the past year, IT IT teams have sort of come along or, you know, been dragged along either way, right? And now it's like, okay, just like you said, it's like, well, now setup is not this sort of big sort of onboarding situation, which I think is nice.
The basics.
Mm-hmm.
AI didn't kill IT. IT, you're needed more than ever now. Let's get these images.
Right? All of a sudden security, all is just like the sort of, you know, everything you thought. But it's just kind of fun. You're like we're reliving our younger years.
I'm reliving the, hey, we're going to digitize. Like, that's what
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it makes me think of the move to cloud. You know, you were really taking away people's toys from them when you told them you were going to take those servers out of the closet and put them into the cloud.
I mean, Node still runs on some random servers under a dude's desks, so it's still
We're back.
Yes.
there. Brandon, what about you? What's the latest and greatest? What's working this week?
I think the adoption in terms of using AI to write code is definitely on the upswing. And the reason for that is because I'm seeing like new tools like Cursor 2.0 coming out and being way more agentically driven from a coding standpoint, rather than being like this code assist tool where the user interface is a chat dialogue on the right-hand side and your code on the left-hand side, and you watch your code being modified live in real time. The more I used agentic AI coding tools, the less and less I cared about seeing that code getting modified. As a matter of fact, it actually became prohibitive because it takes render cycles to show all those updates on the screen. So your agent can move 20x faster if it's not having to show you every single itty bitty little line of code getting changed in a text editor that's really more geared towards the user. So practices that I've been seeing like really increase a lot over the past like 2 months is people using tools like Claude Code a lot more when originally they wouldn't even touch it because they really want to see that more Copilot like experience. And then seeing Cursor 2.0 come out with like a fully agentic driven sort of user interface. It's a lot like that, where it's like we don't need to see the files getting opened up and everything for you. It's more of this process of, you know, developing out an idea of some modification that you want done, that modification happening, and then you spending your time to review the code. And the modifications happen like 20x faster now because I don't have to sit there and watch all this rendering of code flying around on my screen because I'm not even looking at that anyway. I just want to see the end product. So the changes, the turnaround time is like much, much faster, I think, for a development experience. And what I've been doing a lot, Tracy, is just getting familiar with really, really good diff tools. If anything, I think there's like a new market out there for like very fancy diff tools that do very nice highlighting and just like more features for a user. Because I'm doing a lot more like reading of code now than I ever have because I just write less of it, if that makes sense. Like I am still writing the code.
I could see like agentic diff tools coming out or some like some sort of
you know, like I do a lot of like, I mean, I'm still inside of Vim on a regular basis, but I've started just taking changes and using tools like Kaleidoscope or Xcode's built-in diffing tool or a variety of other ones because it seems like more of the agentic coding tools are like heading in that direction where it's like this is not a tool that assists you in like the engineering of code necessarily and like the writing of every single little thing. This is something for you to communicate intent to, and then it spits out what it thinks that you want, and then it's on you to kind of review that. And it's an experience that I'm enjoying a lot personally. I've also developed a little bit more into this habit of like writing really long markdown documents, and then I take it to another level where I kind of like have agents write markdown documents for me, and then I spit those in and say, implement this plan. Like so many of my prompts now are like, implement this plan, and it's a big markdown document. So yeah, you know, I mean, that's been interesting. And I don't know, just like a lot of my coworkers have been saying they love Cursor 2.0 because like I tried Cursor out and I left really quickly because I'm just like terminal only. That's just me. Well, now I'm hearing a lot of my Cursor coworkers go, oh my God, Cursor 2.0 is so awesome, Brandon. You really, really, really need to try it.
What do you think? Have you done Cursor 2.0 yet?
I haven't downloaded it yet necessarily, but I have worked with a few people that are using it quite a lot. They're really proficient at it and watch plenty of videos. But when I watch it, I'm like, wow, we're just heading more and more in the direction of the user experience that Claude CLI has, Codex has, Gemini CLI has,
Yeah.
which is like free yourself of the idea of this text editor unless you by hand are writing code. So
I love that.
I'm loving it too, personally. I'm loving it.
I still have a hard time. I still have a hard time being in the IDE. Yeah, I tried Cursor, Perplexity, and Augment, and I'm just in the terminal, man. But I have modified or moved over to the Claude extension inside of VS Code.
Mm-hmm.
That has made a difference. It gives more of like a terminal experience, but I'm still having a hard time going through these IDEs. Like,
I think it really is though. Like when you learn how to code, like whatever you learn how to code specifically on or with, right? Like if you came up and you really enjoyed, when like all these sort of like GUIs were super popular, right? You're like, oh man, this is so great. Or, if you came up and you sort of like grew up in, living your life in terminal, then you sort of like want to live your life there, right? So I think it's still like the sort of like flavor in which it
is.
It does as an engineer.
I personally think that engineers need to like expand their minds a little bit on like what their tools are, because like I don't know. I feel like for years I lived in this world where I only have a hammer. I mean, I have a text editor. It's my text editor. It's the only one that I use. That's it. Well, now I have two ways of modifying text. I have like a hammer and a nail gun. And so I say, like, stop trying to jam your AI experience into your text editor. That's not like the point. I think you should be open-minded to kind of picking like the best tool, knowing that maybe you're not going to be using that tool for text editing, even if it provides that functionality. So, I mean, for a while there, AD, I was doing stuff like I would run Cursor as like a prompt thing, and then I would open them to actually change files, because I just started going like, I'm just going to try to like adopt this idea of like, I've got a toolbox now, because I really do feel like a carpenter with one tool sometimes when it comes to like actually modifying the characters that make my code up.
You're right. You're right about that, and that's why I kind of leaned into that Claude Code extension in VS Code. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna actually use VS Code, but I still, I like VS Code. I'll stick with that. But when I'm trying to go over to Cursor and Augment and all the others, it's just,
it does throw you for a loop. Yeah,
it does, man.
Yeah, well,
so
we're in the evolution right now.
It's the evolution.
And really, it truly is that the entire world needs to evolve sort of at the same time, right? And so, like Brandon, you're talking about like, okay, I don't want to see like it writing my code 24/7. Like I just want to look at the diff at the end. Okay, that I feel like that's one evolution. I think, right now we're still in the whole, okay, I need to review everything that AI gives, and I need to review every single PR. Well, guess what? There's going to be a time very soon in which we're not going to feel that way. I don't know when or what it's going to look like, because I think there's a lot of sort of like security and code quality and blah, 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 like all these questions that are sort of unanswered, right? But I mean, it will be sometime soon. And then, all of a sudden we're not reviewing individual lines of code. So like, then what does that mean? How do you review things at the feature level? Like, I don't know, just like so many interesting, fun things in the next few years for us to explore.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I mean, maybe someone in the comments can tell me, did the programmers of old, whenever they first started using compilers, did they go back and review the assembly code that the compiler spit out? I wouldn't be surprised if someone said yes, but eventually it just became so good that why look at it? There's no point.
It's so good, it's still around. Like we haven't even touched it.
I think Tracy's right. Tracy's right. I think on a given, in time, yes, we will be in that location where it won't be necessary to review the code that you're writing. But I also like pair that with the thought of the stuff we will be building will be so much more of an order of magnitude more complex that you will not have the time to do that. There will just be other things on your mind. There will be other things that you're trying to do and fulfill. How else are we going to build a spaceship that can go faster than light? I'm ready.
Yeah, I think that's going to lead. We're going to need another way of observing, right? We're going to need that orchestrator right? It may not be a human, but we're still going to the orchestrator that's really like observing the various bits, right? And then it can report, hey, I see this anomaly, right? You might want to take a look, right? That's where we'll get more comfortable.
AI is definitely, I mean, already doing that right now, right? Like instead of, a weekly review of error logs, right? It's like you can now proactively do that type of stuff. So we're getting there. But again, it's like this sort of like slow evolution that we all sort of, I mean, gosh, it's not even that slow, right? But it is an evolution that we're all sort of like going through together. So, well, we are doing a workshop, meaning AD and our CTO Elliot is doing a workshop December 3rd, I believe.
Fifth.
You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's ai.this.co/workshops. You can check it out. It's remote and in person. I did get the date wrong. It's December 5th, Friday, December 5th. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. So all the West Coasters can feel okay with waking up. And then, I don't know. I mean, that's a little late for the European folks. Not to mention APAC. Sorry, APAC. But
should we schedule another time, AD, you think?
I think we need to put another on the books.
We're going to be doing the monthly starting next year, so it's going to be a fun time. If you're in Atlanta, come hang out with us. AD and myself are both in Atlanta. Brandon's in Raleigh, and Rob, one of our other team members, is in Raleigh, so definitely come check him out. We're hiring too, so if you're excited about AI, you're testing around things with AI, you want to sort of be at the sort of forefront of this stuff, gosh, what do? You could email me, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. jobs@this.co.
I know. But like, what do we tell them? Like, we can't say dad joke because like, how about like a cat joke? Send me a cat joke.
I love that. Yes. Just send a picture of your cat.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
a cat.
Yeah. If you don't have a cat, you can't apply. Sorry.
A cat meme. Do a cat.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We will see you all next time. Tune in next week.